Hello, my name is Corey Perella, and I am the author of Just in Time and the novel Witness Protection. It's currently in the works. Witness Protection is the story about the end of the porn industry, what it would take litigiously, what it would take from a science point of view, what are the risks and rewards from a health point of view, who is the audience that's consuming this, why are we consuming it? I mean, I really wanted to dig in deep with all of that from a biblical perspective. Because right now, the teaching in the church as of 2010, I'm recording this in 2012, really stinks. It's really bad when it comes to this subject. We've turned it into the thing you can't touch, you can't talk about, you can't look at without becoming infected. So we've essentially gone one of these ways, where the monkey sees no evil, hears no evil, and speaks no evil. And that's not going to help us in regards to things such as AIDS and HIV. There was one sermon in which a pastor said that he believed that all forms of porn were wrong. And I was so jolted by his ignorance in that sermon, it motivated me to do more research. Right now, the webcam is making it so there's more porn out there at this time that is perfectly acceptable and is not violating the idea of adultery that Jesus Christ laid down in Scripture, and it is considered textbook porn as long as it is dealing with this thing here we call a mirror with a memory, as I like to say it. And couples are constantly using it to say hello to each other, and they love each other and spend intimate time with each other, oftentimes on separate parts of the globe. And it's considered textbook porn. Is it adultery? No. Well, with that in mind, I set out to examine what exactly was the issue. And I found it had a lot more to do with health concerns, with dangerous workplace concerns. There's a whole battle right now going on between condoms and OSHA and the way the industry is currently trying to make its money. The average webcam has made it so there's more, quote, pornography out there now than it has ever been, and it's perfectly acceptable. Is a person considered in sin if they're gawking at Jessica Rabbit, who is an animated creation, or Miss Piggy, who is a puppet created by the Henson Company around Frank Oz's arm? These are images of female characters created to be sexual in nature. So this really got me thinking, what would it take for the commercial porn industry to really be challenged? And what if for lack of a better word, the Christian right, the Christian coalition, were to have military power in regards to editing the Constitution on the topic of sex? What if sex were added to the exceptions to the First Amendment? What if it was considered a hate crime to talk about sex in an obscene way as discerned by a very conservative group of people? What would that do to our country? Now, as I get into this conversation about the virtual sex industry and the other aspects of the adult entertainment industry, it's going to seem like I'm scatterbrained jumping around in topic. The problem is you really can't deal with one aspect of this without touching everything else. Dealing with the porn industry as a topic with the church, with the choir, is as difficult as dealing with Christianity in general with an atheistic audience. You got to tackle the whole thing at once, and if you're not prepared, you're going to get your butt kicked by the one person who comes with that, can God create a mountain he can't move? Whatever. So that's why this is going to kind of seem like we're scatterbrained and we're kind of jumping all over the place between the legal and the scientific and what Scripture has to say and people's personal interpretations and what the Catholic Church was doing at one time, what the Protestant Church was doing at one time. How does the bubonic plague feed into this with, humanity's wiped out, we got to impregnate all the women, so condoms were a bad idea, but then venereal disease was spreading. History is going to play a role in this. All that stuff gets dealt with in this story. The framers of the Constitution, when it comes to free speech and whatnot, never intended any individual's tastes or preferences when it comes to fiction, nonfiction, food, religious preference. They knocked out the whole prerequisite of having to pass a religious test to be in public office. Our tastes and preferences and our interpretation should not dictate the law of the land. And don't get me wrong, there's some areas that I care deeply about. Just in Time is an enormous nonviolent protest of abortion. And instead of me saying people who have abortion are bad, instead of me doing that, I actually use science fiction to say, well, abortion became obsolete and this is how. And everybody who's read the book has been like, wow, that's cool. Well, you know what? I studied the way the abolitionists did it with slavery. I studied that for a long time and went, all right, this problem is not unique to our society. How we're going to deal with it, that's going to be special. There's going to be a moment where, yes, I believe abortion will be obsolete. And I believe that it will be when life is commercially more valuable than death. In regards to porn, you have to understand that we can't let our own tastes and preferences, and I'm going to use this word lightly, prejudices, determine how we interpret the scripture. And when I hear a lot of church leaders talk about the issues of, are you having a hard time with porn, guys? They never turn to women and go, so, how's it going? There's no discussion on it. It bothers me because it's a woman's industry. It is a woman's industry. Without women, it would be a completely homosexual issue. Okay? So, these are things that the book discusses in detail. And these are things that it discusses in a very responsible, scientific way, using academic language. There's little to no sex mentioned. There's a lot of things that are implied. There's a lot of descriptions about scenarios that are going on. But it's if you want to read about sex, check out Danielle Steele's latest romance novel. We're not even going there. So I don't even want to hear it if somebody says, well, are you talking about sex? This is safe enough for an audience mature enough to enjoy primetime television. So with that in mind, please enjoy the movie. If you have any questions, as I've requested and challenged of my viewership and listenership, bring them. I'm all ears. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy the book, and I hope you enjoy the movie that's currently playing on here. It's 30 minutes. It was my best effort many years ago. I've since moved on, but until I have enough money to make another one, this is what I got. Thank you.